Hello, fledglings. I'm Hoodie Angel Brandon, and welcome to another Fae video. Today, we have our dear Professor Byleth's long-awaited legendary refine. I'm just downloading the update now, logging in, and yes, we are here to take a look at what they decided to do with our dear Professor. And yes, here he is. I was originally going to not look at this at all, but it was in the Fae channel, and I did kind of happen to see what he ended up with for his like remix and everything. But we don't know the refine yet, and hopefully it will be something good. I'm nervous. But yes, we have seen the remix skill. I only kind of remember what it was, and then we also saw the new skill that he gets. I think it was an oath skill. I think it was attack speed oath, which wasn't the #1 top choice for him, but it could have been worse. Let me just check. Yes, that is attack speed oath. Okay, so not my first pick. Would have liked to see maybe, I don't know, attack speed finish, or yeah, probably just that. Attack speed oath is still pretty good. It's just a little disappointing because I do have fodder for that already, so not my first pick, but it's still good, and it does let him have that warp movement, which is a little more common now, but it kind of makes him a little bit more comparable to his female version's legendary, who has the warp ability. Consequently, I wouldn't be surprised if when she gets her remix, she ends up with something similar to male Byleth, where it lets her loop her special or something. Maybe she'll get like a special spiral baked into her kit or something. But yeah, so he has attack speed oath 4 for +6 attack speed and the warp, and then also attack speed +3 during combat if near an ally. Pretty solid. And then what did his Sublime Heaven get? At start of combat, if cooldown is at maximum, grant special cooldown count -1 to unit. That's right. So yeah, I did see that from the Fae channel, but I kind of forgot already. Forgetful boy. And honestly, that special acceleration was what I expected him to get, and honestly, probably the most realistic good thing that he could have gotten. Maybe he could have gotten something a little more fancy, but that's about what I expected. And they also, I think, increased the damage of the special overall. I think it was like 25 and 50% against beasts and dragons. And now it's 30 and 60% for beasts and dragons. So, small boost, but a welcome one nonetheless. Help him keep up with a lot of the other nukes that just tear through all of the super defensive walls around. And then, of course, it still retains the null special, the null damage reduction effect. So, yeah, that's pretty solid already, but let's go ahead and see what he actually got for his refine, and I hope it's good. Here he is. Alright, professorial text. Let's see. Please be good. Please be good. Okay, Professor, what have we got? What are we working with? Alright, accelerate special trigger cooldown count -1, of course. If unit initiates combat, you know, it'd probably help if I knew what the base effect was. If unit so the base effect is slaying, and then if initiates combat within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed def res +5. Also, if unit speed is greater than foe's speed during combat, neutralizes effects that guarantee foe follow-up attack, so null follow-up. And then grants null follow-up to allies within 2 spaces. So fairly simple, fairly, well, by today's standards. Fairly simple, but still pretty solid. So what have we improved here? Retains the slaying if unit initiates combat or if there's an ally within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit. So always, more or less, I think you'd have to go out of your way to not have this effect trigger more than working to actually trigger it. That's kind of the case with most effects nowadays. You have to actively try and not get the effect to work. So within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit, grants attack, speed, def res +5, of course that spectrum +5, and deals 7 damage during combat. So I think that's kind of similar to the boost from Finish, if I recall. I think Finish gave +7. Except when dealing damage with area of effect specials, which is never going to come up because he has his own special that he's going to run. Also, if unit speed is greater than foe's speed, null follow-up. For allies within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit, grants attack speed +5 to those allies, and also null follow-up. So that's already pretty good. It just makes his effect a lot easier to trigger. It's going to trigger always. And then it also gives a little bit of extra team support with a +5 attack speed. Not quite as good as a spectrum boost like he gets for himself, but welcome free stats. And then this green text. What's the actual rest of the refine here? At start of combat, if HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants +4 to unit across the board, and grants a bonus to unit's attack, speed, def res equal to number of allies within range of him. Grants bonus to unit's attack speed. Okay, so potentially outside of weird things like Aether Raids and Rival Domains, maximum of +3 for a total of +7, if I'm counting correctly. And then neutralizes penalties to attack, speed, neutralizes effects that grant special cooldown charge. Oh, is that just tempo? So yeah, he gets tempo, which is nice. That was one of the things I guess he could have gotten in as his remix skill. He could have gotten tempo, but they put it here, which I'm pretty sure is, again, something that makes him similar to his female legendary version. So she's probably going to get stuff that makes her more like him as well. And they'll end up very similar with a different color, basically. Let's see, what else is in here? There's a lot of stuff. He's got, like, I think a potential +7 extra all stats, and then tempo, and reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30% during combat, which doesn't matter for my current build because I'm using Wind Sweep, but I guess that makes it a little bit easier to remove the Wind Sweep and give him something else. What else would he want in his B slot, honestly? Occultist Strike, maybe? Yeah, that sounds about right. Probably like a Cultist Strike. Neutralizes penalties to attack speed on allies within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit during combat. So that's a lot, wow. It took me forever to get through all this, but let me see. So he's got Slaying, +5 across the board, and then an extra +7 damage. Null follow-up, gives allies null follow-up, and attack speed +5. And then he also gets potentially +7 if he's above 25% and has allies nearby-ish. Neutralizes his penalties to attack and speed, gets tempo, and then also neutralizes penalties to allies' attack speed. And he also has damage reduction 30% when he initiates. That's a lot. It seems very solid. Um, yeah, it doubles down on the two things he wanted to do, which was hit hard and support his allies. So we'll go ahead and learn that, and seems pretty solid. I don't know how it compares to the other units in this batch, but I think I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely need to overhaul his kit a little bit. Probably want to give him like attack speed finish, since he's going to be spamming his special anyway. It's what his Kadean and regular version are already running, so probably a good fit for him too. And then fix his B slot, just give him something else, because he doesn't worry as much about not getting hit now, I guess, because he does have that damage reduction, and he's also getting a fairly decent chunk of def and res. I mean, like, that's what, 5 plus 7 potentially, if I counted correctly, so plus 12. Yeah, it's not like he's breaking like into the 50s, but I mean 40s on a mage with 30% damage reduction, he's probably going to be pretty okay. Could probably drop Windsweep for something else, but we'll have to see. So yeah, overall pretty content with it. It's not like wildly changing his playstyle or anything, but didn't really expect it to. Oh yeah, and then also we can get rid of the Times Pulse, because he already does that innately now, and he can run attack speed oath. So yeah, I mean, the game plan is just ideally just one shot, and the damage reduction doesn't matter at all. If he doesn't, then he reduces the damage, and he probably is going to outspeed most things that he would actually bother to initiate on, and take him out on the second hit if they manage to survive that first one. So yeah, seems solid enough, and he's also just going to be warping around the map. So yeah, maybe not the craziest refine, but solid enough that I'm not upset with it. Sometimes that's all you can really ask. Just not having to feel like my 1+10 legendary got shafted is enough for me. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on the refine below. What do you think? Were any of the other refines in this batch good? Again, I didn't really check, so I don't know. Maybe they're all better than him. Probably not, but maybe. But yeah, let me know what you think. And until next time, this is Hoodie Angel Brandy and Professor Byleth signing out. Bye bye.